Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you see it? The elf we have here, the elf on the shelf. We're playing Christmas music a little bit this morning. We have the elf on the shelf here with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like, first of all, to say good morning from me. Good morning from my spirit guide, Gregor, who is always to my right here. Good morning to Kay, the elf on the shelf this morning. Say good morning.
Good morning.
And yes, to my far right, as usual, we've got Carolyn. Say good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning, Carolyn.
I'm a bit afraid to turn the camera on Carolyn this morning, because even though Kay is elf on the shelf, it actually quite looks quite good to me. you look quite
fetching.
Yes, you could wear that to a wedding maybe. But Carolyn has a whole different story. Would you like to pop into the camera, Carolyn, and say good morning?
Good morning. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
See, we've all got no, not yet. Not yet. We've got our parcel. Is it a parcel? Lots of parcels.
Yes, Christmas
on a tree.
Yes.
So we're all ready for Christmas, because obviously Karen did all her Christmas shopping, as you can see. And give it to me then. Which way is it?
That's the front.
Why is that the front? Because that looks like a pirate hat to me.
No, it looks like Santa's
Santa's boots.
Yes, his belt actually.
Oh, his belt.
Yeah, it is.
They want me to wear this.
Yes, we have to take a selfie with these ladies.
Oh God, can I hold it there?
No, you got to wear it.
All right. I see. It's going to ruin my hairstyle here. Not that that's any great deal. There.
See, what an improvement. Okay.
All right, selfie.
That'll be online for everybody to enjoy.
Oh, how nice. All right. So, do I have to wear this thing the whole day through?
Really nice.
I've never worn one of these before. I really wanted the elf on the shelf because my grandson is well into the elf on the shelf, and I might steal it and take it with me when I go to New York. I know it's not quite Christmas, but next Thursday I will be traveling. We may, if we have time, do a show on Wednesday morning. We shall let you know next Wednesday. Kay will not be here because Kay is leaving for England on Monday, right?
Yes.
So we may or may not do a show on Wednesday. We shall let you know. It depends how much time we have, and we'll let you know the time and all the rest of it through our email or through Facebook or Twitter or wherever else it goes. Why are you grinning? Carolyn's got this nasty grin on her face because she thinks, she's really.
Everybody loves her.
She's really loving this photo. All right, I'm not sure I can work with this like this, but anyway, here we go. What's that thing?
Can you imagine Reese's face if you got off the airplane?
Oh, it's a feather.
Can you imagine Reese's face if you got off the airplane with something like that?
No, I can't. Actually, he'd love it. He'd think it was lovely. He would really think it was lovely. Excuse me, I'm wriggling about a bit. All right, can we get down to business now? Because we do have a few questions that people have sent in. Welcome to everybody who's joined us live. It is Christmas. Now, look, I just have to say this to you. All of you are sitting there who are listening and enjoying live. You better all come up with a question, because this is your opportunity. This is your turn. This is a good time for you to have. Excuse me, I've still got this nasty cold, as you can see. So this is your opportunity, your turn to answer questions. Please excuse my coughing along the way. Carolyn, over to you, my dear.
All right.
Excuse me.
Albertine.
Good morning, Albertine.
Asks, can someone in the spirit world ask us a question that they don't know the answer to?
No. Because mostly they do know the answer. Because they see us, they hear us, they watch us, they watch over us. So they're pretty, excuse me, they pretty much know what's going on. And if they don't know what's going on or they need help, they have their angels in the spirit world who can ask them and who can help them. I'm looking at my poor puppy down there. He's so disgusted with me wearing this hat. Just want you to know that. It's not necessary for them to ask us, because they can see us, and we, they don't just see what we're doing, what we're saying. They see into our hearts. They connect with our soul. So there is nothing really that we keep secret from them. And for those of you who may not be being good this year, you might be on Santa's naughty list. You might want to think about that. The fact that that they see everything. As I tell my grandson all the time, All right.
Okay, we have Eric.
Good morning, Eric.
Eric asks, how do you deal with the situation?
Can I just tell you,
yes.
How can anyone take me seriously with his stupid hat on my head? Right? How can anyone? Here we are. We have some really important questions and serious questions, and here I am wearing ridiculous hat. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be before I take it off.
Okay.
Every time I look at you, I've got.
Let the viewers vote. If you want Rosemary to keep the hat on.
Oh, be quiet. All right, go on. Let's have Eric's question, shall we?
How do you deal with a situation such as someone lying about you that you know you will never be able to change, yet you are highly irritated over? What do you do with the irritation so that it doesn't consume you?
Well, if you really think about this question and you really think about me, you have to know that, this question might apply to me much more so than to most other people. Because, of course, when you're in the public eye, and especially when you claim that you can talk to dead people, which is a crazy thing to claim anyway, nobody thinks you're crazy. But when you're claiming those things, I mean, there are people out there who might believe. There are people out there who, consider that either the very worst thing is that I'm lying to everyone else, and the very best thing is that I'm lying to myself. And then you get those nasty people, those people who can just, and we've had a lot of that, and over the years of my life, I've had a lot of that. When people get quite, they spill their vitriol, they say such mean and nasty and horrible things, even when they don't even know you. They tell lies about you, and they make stories up about you. So Eric, I think you might be suffering from something similar. Everybody handles it different. There is no right way to handle it, but I simply have learned to accept, if that's what you want to believe, if that's what that person wants to believe, there's not a thing I can do to change it. And so why would I bother to change it? And why would I want to waste my energy getting caught up in something that is, something that of someone else's creation? We all suffer with this a little bit from time to time. We all have people who, might say mean things. When we're kids, we have other kids who say mean things about us. When we're growing up, people say things not necessarily about us, but there are people who are born liars. There are people who just lie because they want attention, or for whatever other reason people lie, but you can't do anything about the liars. They're out of your reach. What you can do is you can do something about your own self. If you continue to allow other people to get to you, that's your choice and not theirs. People can only do to you, you've heard me say this before a trillion times, people can only do to you what you allow them to do. And if you allow people to get away with this, nonsense by upsetting you, or by irritating you, or by you getting frustrated, that's your choice. You won't change them, you won't change what they say, but you need to change yourself, and you need to sort of rise above the nonsense of the world, because if you get embroiled in the nonsense, there are many other things you're going to get embroiled in, and you're going to end up being very unhappy and very miserable because other people aren't behaving the way that you would wish they should, or they're not behaving the way that you behave. can't change other people's behavior, and you can't change other people's outlook, and you just have to hope that, you know, you learn to become immune to it. What other people say about you shouldn't make one jot of difference. There are people who love me and worship me and adore me and put me on a pedestal. That's not good either, because I'm not an all-knowing and all-seeing and a perfect being, as my friend Kay here will testify to, won't you? I mean,
She has her faults.
oh, stab to the heart. Stab to the heart. See, and this is coming from a friend. We all have our faults. You know, work on doing the best that you can do for you. Forget what other people say about you. It really isn't worth it. It's just not worth it. Shrug your shoulders and move on. Would you say that, Kay?
Yes, as difficult as it is, I think it's worse if what they're saying is affecting how other people treat you as well and think about you, because it becomes a wider issue then.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Yeah. But have you ever had anyone be mean to you just because? Say something mean to you or about you?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And how do you deal with it?
Well, I think your initial reaction is to be hurt and upset, but then you do have to think about what you know of your own self, and draw on that, really.
Yeah. Carolyn, what about you?
I was just thinking, yes, I do have somebody that was mean.
Would you like to just...
for no reason.
How can you take her seriously?
I'm a Christmas present.
Oh, that's what you are. Okay,
It's a gift.
Go on
I'm
then.
a gift.
Go on. Well, you surely are.
So when I was in my 20s and I encountered this person, I thought that I could change their opinion of me. So I was, I did everything, stuff that I shouldn't have done. I was kinder than I ever should have been to this person. Now that I'm older, my approach would be your loss, much more so than... You might try a little
Because you
bit.
didn't probably gain from it anyway.
Oh, no,
So-
not at all. I kept that faith that, this person would change, and no, not everybody changes.
I also don't think it should be a matter of trying to change somebody else. I think you need to look at yourself and change who you are. And if you're allowing things to affect you in this way, you need to ask yourself, why? Because that points to your insecurities about who you are. If you know the truth of a thing, be content that you know the truth of a thing and forget what anybody else thinks or says. That would be my advice.
Yeah, but sometimes when
Easier
you're younger,
said than
it's
done.
harder.
Easier said than done. I'm not saying it's easy. I've had my share of, crying and being upset because people are mean to me or they say mean things about me. We recently had somebody saying really mean things, didn't we? It was awful. But then what you're dealing with there, when people say awful things about you, you're dealing with someone who's full of anger and they're just lashing out at a person, in this case me. They're just lashing out because they just need to find someone they can lash out at, and that's sad for them. That's very sad for them. And if people tell lies about situations, or they try to tell lies about the history of a thing or what happened about a thing, well, you got to just shrug your shoulders and move on. It's really not worth the time and effort that it takes to get upset. All right, next.
We've got Bear here.
Just look at us, really.
We look lovely, and everybody says so.
I don't think. I bet they don't. I bet they don't.
Angie says, keep it on. Let's see. Ambra says, you look cute.
Oh,
Dean says,
look
love
cute.
it.
We look cute.
So, okay. Bear, Medicine Walker, is with us
Good
this
morning,
morning.
Bear. Yeah.
She says, I look at negative people as they come into our lives to learn lessons, and we need to let it go. Not our problem, their problem. And she also said her parents and her grandparents come to her in dream time to kick her butt when she needs it.
Well, good.
She also
Good.
She also has a mentor I had in life that is on the other side. When she shows up, I know I need to listen and pay attention. It's like living with a kid, being a kid again and getting scolded.
Kay knows that feeling, don't you?
Yes.
We've been working on Kay this week. It's been so much fun for me. Sorry. Yeah.
That sounded just devious. Gabriella asks, sorry?
That's my daughter. Sorry, she forgot that I'm doing this. Sorry about it. It is a live show. What can I tell you?
Gabriella, she asks, can people in the spirit world lie to us, and would we realize if they did?
Why would they want to?
Yeah, first of all, why would they want to? Again, I can only speak for myself. When I talk to people in the spirit world, I have Grey Eagle, who he's sort of like the doorkeeper. So he monitors who comes in. And quite frankly, no one would dare or want to lie when he's around, because he would just say, no, you're out. You're out. I don't see the reason why someone in the spirit world would lie to you. I suppose it's possible. Anything's possible. But I'm going to go with, when I talk to people in the spirit world, I trust them totally. But that's probably because I do have a guardian, and I do have Grey Eagle watching here and, making sure. And I always check with him, because it's often not that someone in the spirit world lies to you. It's very, very easy, much more easy than you might guess, for us to misinterpret what it is they're saying to us. And if we misinterpret what they're saying, and then what they're saying doesn't come true, that's on us, not on them. So when you're listening to people in the spirit world, you need to be very cautious, and you need to pay attention. And, it's a little bit like sometimes hearing only half of a sentence. If you only hear a half of a sentence, you don't know the full meaning of that sentence. Then if you think that you do, or you make assumptions that you know the full meaning of that sentence, that's when you're going to be confused. So I don't think it's that people in the spirit world don't tell us the truth. I think it's that we don't always hear or understand fully what it is they're saying.
I think you're right, because I know during a sitting I interpreted something you told me
when you had a consult with
you, that I interpreted something one way, and it wasn't till a few years later, when something happened, I realised what it really meant.
And I
didn't
really
consider it was a lie. It was your
interpretation.
Yes, not understanding it in the first place.
Yeah. So I think, you do have to pay attention. We're human and we're fallible. So, we don't always understand what is being said to us. And if we make a quick judgment or a quick assumption of what is being said, we're often, we're often in the wrong there. That's as Kay said, that's a good analogy.
Well, the thing is as well, we are taking what they say in a current situation where they may be talking about time ahead.
Yes, and also, as human beings, we have a narrow focus on what is going on with us. We can't see ahead to tomorrow, or the next day, or even 6 months ahead, or even 2 years ahead. But those in the spirit world do see ahead. And it may be that they're talking about a situation that is going to unfold at some point in the future. And we make assumptions that they're talking about the here and now with us. Because so often, especially when people come to see someone like me, we so often need help in the moment, that we get so focused on what is being said and apply it to the now, as opposed to understanding there's a broader picture here, there's a bigger picture here. If you go to see a medium and they don't explain that to you, they don't explain, wait a minute, there is a broader picture. And Carolyn is often here with consults when I'm doing consultations with people, right, Carolyn?
Yes.
And you often hear me say, this is not, we're not talking about today, we're not talking about yesterday, we're talking about, this situation is going to unfold in this way in the future.
Yes, and there's been many people that have written you and said, hey, something you told me, 8 years afterwards it happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we get that all the time.
That's what happened in my situation.
Yeah. So, okay. Next.
All right, Angie
question.
asks.
Good morning, Angie.
is there a way we can be sure that who we think we are talking to in the spirit world is really that person? Can they be dishonest?
It's a little bit like the last question. Really.
It is, but what I'm going to say is apply the 3-time rule. Always apply the 3-time rule. If you think it's a certain person, pay attention, listen, but don't just, you know, go headlong into, you know, making assumptions that it is that person you think. If that person comes to you again and gives you more evidence that it's them, then that's the 2nd time, and then you really need to pay attention. Sit up and pay attention. If it happens a 3rd time, you have to just accept it and understand that this is a possibility. But again, you know, nobody's being dishonest here. Those in the spirit world, I really don't think they're being dishonest. I think it's all about us and our interpretation of things, our needs of things, our wants of things. I mean, I've known people who are desperate to talk to their mother. And so, you know, they're not necessarily discerning when they hear someone in the spirit world, or they're not necessarily discerning about whether it's in their imagination or whether it's real. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm looking at the girls here. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes what's in our head is not really what is real. That's, you know, we can get misled by that. Okay.
I just thought it was interesting, one of your recent consults where the person wanted to talk to one person.
Do you want to come in here and do this?
And a
little Christmas package here.
This person was had contacted you to speak to their mother, but had asked one question about another family member, and
well, it wasn't even a family member.
Oh no, okay.
No, it wasn't even a family member. This person started off by asking all sorts of questions. In fact, the majority of the questions. Because when someone comes for a consultation with me, what we ask them to do is to just write down a list of questions that you have, so that I know where we can sort of, because I only have, if I had all day with everybody, it would be different. But because we only have a certain amount of time with each consultation, it's easy to see, you know, so if they have concerns about money, the question is, I want to know about money, I want to know about relationships, I want to, so on. All right, but this person, I know exactly who you mean, put all her focus and her questions onto this one person who she was very, very concerned about. And this person had died in very unusual and somewhat difficult circumstances. So naturally she was worried. They were good friends. So naturally she was worried about how he was doing, so on and so forth. Well, he came through. But she also neglected to say until the very end, I would like to talk to my mum and so on, because I suppose she thought that was a given. But this person that she wanted to talk to and wanted to be, you know, to know, had that person made it over, were they safe, and so on and so forth. He, you know, that was it. He took up the entire rest of the consultation. And her mother, although she did get a word in here and there, didn't do that well, didn't do nearly as well as she'd hoped. So you have to be very careful when you're looking for someone, and you have to be very clear when you come see someone like me, or you have to be very clear when you do this for yourself, who it is you're trying to connect with, and also the reasons why you're trying to connect with them, because there are many reasons why we connect with different people in the spirit world. Okay, next question, or comment, or anything.
Jim is joining us.
Good morning, Jim.
He says, I've had an NDE, near-death experience, but more of an OBE, which he out-of-body experience.
All right, then.
After a bad car accident.
Okay.
Is there a difference?
A near-death and an out-of-body?
As opposed to an out-of-body.
There is a difference, Jim, yes. However, they do often come together, because when you experience that near-death experience, the initials have completely confused me now, but when you are having that, you know, when you are in that near-death experience that you are dying, it's very, very common at that point in time for us, for the soul to leave the body. That's the out of body that you're experiencing, the out of body experience that you're having very often comes with the, you know, the near death, we don't always remember it. We don't always remember the out of body, and we certainly don't always remember the near death experience either. It's only other people will tell us after the event that that's
He's
what
actually
happens.
saying it stays with him all the time.
Is that a good thing or not a good
I
thing?
don't know.
Was this a good experience? That I would be
Jim?
interested, Jim. Was this a
Yeah.
good experience? Do you like that it stays with you? Does it help you in any way? Because I know lots of people who do have these out of body experiences, and they're able to travel, or they meet other people in the spirit world, or they have an experience which is very profound to them, and and very memorable to them,
Yes.
which is so helpful and helpful in understanding. When we come back and here we are, we're getting on with our lives again. We've recovered somewhat again, and we're getting on with our lives again. So many people fear death, but if you've had an out of body experience, you really don't have that same fear, because we fear the unknown. But if you have an out of body experience, it isn't the unknown anymore, and it can be often very, very comforting and very, very helpful.
He said yes, it was.
Great.
It was
That's brilliant. I was hoping that you would say that. But when we are, let's say, at death's door, or about to, pop our clogs, as we say in Yorkshire, then that is often the time when we are leaving our physical body behind. We're taking with us our etheric or spirit body. Our soul is leaving our physical body, and so therefore, and often that is a memorable thing that's happening to you, and what happens through that once we leave our body can be very, very memorable. I've had it myself. I've had a couple of near-death experiences, and again, the near-death experiences, we really only know about them when the surgeon says, well, we nearly lost you on the table, or a family member says, well, this is what the doctor said, or this is what happened, and so on and so forth. But the out-of-body experience that comes with it is something that can be very, very memorable to us and very helpful to us in the future. Thank you for that, Jim.
Yeah, Jim says,
it's really nice that you shared that with us.
Jim said he was very aware of everything going on around and the illusion of life. He watched the whole thing.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I love it. And I relate to it too. Have you ever had anything like that happen to you, Kay?
No.
Well, Kay's
No.
a nurse. Have you ever, with any of your patients, have you ever seen anything like that happen?
No, I can't say that I have.
No?
No.
Okay.
Or they've never.
Or
People have never sort of said afterwards.
I think that when people have an out-of-body experience, they're a bit, especially in days past, not so much now because we talk about it much more now, but I think people are nervous, or they're loath to say about it because they don't want people thinking they're cuckoo or crazy or what have you. I can remember coming out of a hospital. I can remember I'm sort of coming out of a particular situation in a hospital and having what I found out later was a psychiatric doctor sitting next to me asking me all kinds of questions like, what year is it? Who's the queen? Is there a queen? Who's the Queen of England? And on, sort of asking me all sorts of weird questions. And then he's asking questions that get near to the bone. And did I want to say, well, actually, I see dead people? Do you think they would have let me out of hospital? This is years and years ago. You think they'd have let me out of hospital easily? They might have sectioned me. So, I was careful what I said in those days. Now I wouldn't care now. I just tell, section away, kid. That's what I would say now. But I think people are a bit loath to tell the story because they're afraid that people will think them crazy. Yeah.
All right. Ashley.
Good morning, Ashley.
Asks, so I have a question. Since the passing of my mother, I've noticed lights flickering. Do you think it's her way of communicating with me? And Sarah added to that, Ashley, I had that right away for the first year or two after my mom passed.
Are they talking with each other? Never mind talking with each other. Talk to me. Talk to me. I want to know. Yeah. But I'm glad, Sarah, that you were able to put Ashley at ease, because yes, your people in the spirit world will try to let us know in a variety of ways. I mean, the flickering lights and Sometimes we, we're walking along, we find a feather at our feet or a penny at our feet or something. People in the spirit world will try to show us, if you see butterflies or dragonflies, that's another a situation where, and when you see these things, you just, there's something inside of you which you just know, and it's your soul speaking to you, and it's whoever it is, in this case your mother, speaking to you, saying, yes, it's me, pay attention, it really is me. So you just have a knowing sense that things are how they feel. Listen to your instincts, listen to your intuition, and listen to the spirit world, because they let us know in so many different ways that they are there with us. Let's have our next comment or question or what have you.
Gabriella has a great question.
Good morning, Gabriella.
I have a friend who was in a coma for 3 months. She does not remember anything. So where was her soul during this 3 months?
Oh, well, it's the same as when we're asleep. When we go to sleep, our soul, our spirit leaves our body and travels. It can go anywhere, do anything it likes, and it comes back and forth and back and forth. Most of us don't remember when that happens because we're just asleep. But some of us do remember that, and we have, let's say, vivid dreams, or you wake up and you say, well, I dreamt this or this, or I had, I felt so and so, and then you say, but it was only a dream, but then it was real, and so on. It's not surprising that your friend does not remember what went on with her in her coma, but my guess is that her, and Grail is confirming this for me as I'm talking to you, so I think that her soul was on its own journey, perhaps taking respite, exploring, and so on and so forth. It would not surprise me at all if, as time went on, it might take a year, it might take 10 years or even longer, but it would not surprise me if your friend didn't start to have certain recollections of what did happen to her as she connects more and more with her soul and her and as she starts to listen to the heartbeat of her soul, which I do believe that she will start to do at some point in the future. Gray is putting his hand on my shoulder to confirm that. So, don't be despondent that she doesn't remember now. She has time.
I've got a question.
Uh-oh. This is well, come on in then. Snuggle on the sofa. There you are. There you go.
So I know you've watched the show Grey's Anatomy, correct? Have you ever watched that?
It happens to be my daughter's favorite show. So when I'm there, I sometimes have to put up with it. Yes.
Okay. So there was a great scene about somebody was on this operating table and they left their body and they're
kind of floating on the ceiling thing,
and they talk to other spirits or people that have passed. And all the people up there were telling that person it's time, it's not your time back. What do you think of that?
I think it's quite accurate.
Uh-huh.
I think that a lot of these TV shows are based on people's experiences, and I think that's quite accurate. There was I can't remember the name of the TV show now, but I watched it, for quite some time. There was a guy, and he happened to be a doctor, but I can't remember what happened to him, but he was in a coma, and he was walking the halls of the hospital, connecting with other patients who had died. And when he finally came out of the coma, he remembered it all. And of course, people thought it was crazy. So he, instead of then starting to talk about it, he realized that he would have to help people in a secret way, in a quiet way. And it was fun to watch, because so much of this is really how it actually happens. That's a good question. So, do people have out-of-body experiences? Yes. I myself, I'm just thinking of one particular case. I've had many, but I had a patient who was in a coma. He'd had a really nasty accident at work, and he'd had a whole pile of stuff fall on top of him. And he was on life support and all the rest of it. And I would go in to give him healing from time to time. And I can remember one time I was, you know, the doctors weren't sure whether he was going to survive. His family wasn't sure if he was going to survive, and his entire family came to the hospital, and they were the ones who'd invited me to, you know, come in and help them, and also to help this man. You know, it was often the case I would go in there, and there his body was all attached to, you know, life support and all the rest of it, and there he'd be standing next to the body saying, "Hi Rosemary, how are you doing?" And we'd have lots of conversations, and I would ask him, trying to be helpful to him and the family, you know, if he'd decided, you know, or if it was going, or if he was going to fight back, or, you know, what was the purpose of him, because he was in a coma for about 2 weeks altogether. You know, what was the purpose of him being in that coma? And he just, it was about the family and about getting the family ready and being able to prepare the family, because he did eventually pass. But he was all about, he was hanging around so that the family could have time with me, that they could have time with him, more importantly, and that they would, you know, get themselves to the point of you know, accepting that this was an inevitability, and that helped them tremendously. Some people are able to do that. Some people do not have the luxury of it. Don't ask me why, because I don't know.
I was just thinking.
Talk to God on that one.
I was just thinking. I wonder if he was an earth sign, because earth signs like to.
We do like to control things,
yes,
don't we? We do like to organise and
yes.
plan, and that could well be, Carolyn. You might be right.
Opposite.
Go ahead.
Thing. I worked for a doctor, and I was talking to him about his feelings on alternative therapies, and he was an Asian doctor, and he talked about his parents' Ayurvedic, I think that's how his beliefs, and he said when his mother was very, very ill, his father was over in Pakistan waiting to try to get the family over to England, and the mother was very, very ill, and he said she must have sort of gone near to death, but had asked if she could stay until he'd sorted things out. And apparently she made this miraculous sort of recovery for a short period of time and died just after he came back to sort things out to get the family over.
Wow.
Great.
And that's what he told me.
Don't you love it? Yeah. This is what you call, you know, don't you love it when a plan comes together? You know, and she obviously had a plan, and the spirit world has a plan, and you know, and it's great when these plans come together. So it is, yeah, it's the opposite of that, but it's very interesting. I don't know why, when you say she asked, I'm assuming she asked the powers that be, she asked God or whatever, if she could just hang on for a bit longer or what.
Yeah, so it's not that I'm not willing to go. I just want
Can you just give me a little bit of time?
Yeah.
But I know that some people ask that, and for whatever reason is not granted, that time is not granted to them, and other people it is. I've always said, you know, when it's my time, I just would like enough time before, like, you know, some people just drop dead. That's it. They've gone. No chance to say goodbye or anything. I would just like enough time to hold my daughter and my grandson and to tell them I love them. Not that they don't know it, because they do, but I would like to have that time so that we could have some sort of goodbye, if you like, and some sort of, you know, connection before I go. Whether I'll get it or not is a whole other thing. But I don't want that much time that if I'm in pain, I'm going to suffer agony. But if I have to suffer agony in order to have that time with my daughter and my grandson, then I would willingly do that. But you don't always get what you ask for, and I'm not sure why that is. I'm not God. I don't make the decisions and so on and so forth. But it's very interesting that, you know, that it's very interesting how things work out. Okay.
Gabriella just let us know that the girl that she's talking about that was in a coma, she's very unhappy now. She tried to finish her life, and she didn't. And she doesn't want to accept her life. So I believe what she's saying is the girl in the coma tried to commit suicide, and she's not happy that she's still here. So maybe. Well,
the thing is, you can't kill yourself until it's your time anyway. So
maybe Gabrielle could tell her that. Yeah.
maybe Gabrielle, you might let her encourage you to listen to this YouTube, because I think that this girl has a lot yet to learn, and I think that she just has to believe that that she's well loved. And so maybe letting her listen to this or encouraging her to listen to this just might be very helpful to her. Okay, let us know. Keep us posted.
Bear Medicine Walker says, having worked at Children's Hospital in Detroit, I have spoken to those who have been in comas, and they have told me stories exactly what you were saying.
Yeah. It's very common, and whereas at one time people would scoff or people would believe it, but they wouldn't dare say they believed it. Now, I mean, there's so much more acceptance now of this subject. I mean, here we are on a YouTube channel chatting away about it like it's an ordinary thing. And to me, it isn't an ordinary thing. It's an extraordinary thing, but it's nevertheless, it's normal. People say to me, do you believe in the paranormal or the supernatural? Kay's heard me say this before, and I'm sure that Carolyn's heard me say this before. I don't believe in the supernatural, and I don't believe in the paranormal. I believe everything is normal and natural and as it should be. But I do think also that it is extraordinary and fantastic, don't you?
Yes.
Next question.
If you could give Angie, because I believe she's a fairly new listener, a brief synopsis of how long has Grey Eagle been with you, and how did you first discover he was there, and what's his role in your life?
Well, Grey Eagle is my spirit guide. He's been with me forever. We were together prior to this life, but I discovered him or rediscovered him in my very early 30s. You need to read The Eagle and the Rose. If you read The Eagle and the Rose, you'll get that story, because it is a fascinating story. Even though it's my story, it's still fascinating because the people who are in that story are much more fascinating than I am. But Grey Eagle has been with me ever since then. He is my guide. He is my helper. He supports me. He's squeezing my shoulder as we're talking. He's my teacher. He's my mentor. He's all things to me. And he's also my, almost like my sous chef in the kitchen, because I ask if I'm cooking something that I particularly don't eat or don't like, and I don't particularly want to taste it, I'll ask him, is there enough salt in this? Or what do you think to the taste of this? We laugh about it, but that's who we are together. We have a fabulous relationship. And I've never, ever had occasion, if I ask him, is there enough salt in here? I've never had occasion to question that if he says yes, that there isn't enough salt. So so we're buddies together. That's what we are.
All right. Dean asks, each night when I have my nightly drink before supper.
Oh, we don't know about this nightly drink. What is this one then? Why have we never heard about the nightly drink before?
I toast my mom, dad, brother, and all my loved ones in the spirit world. Do you think they all join with me?
Well, I can't say that they do every night. I don't know. Maybe they're busy. I think they do. You know they do. Why are you asking me this question when you already know the answer to the question? Kay and I, we've been having our little connections, right?
Yes.
And
with the spirit world.
With the spirit world.
2 levels.
On 2 levels. Do you want to say?
No.
Come on.
No, we've had a little tipple, haven't we?
We've had a little tipple, yes, we have. We've had a couple of little tipples from time to time. Our habit at the moment is that because can I tell people about a little bit about the consult? Am I allowed?
Mm-hmm.
Kay had a consultation with me a few days ago, where her mother and father came through to talk to us, and they gave us some very helpful, hopefully, and enlightening suggestions for different things. And so I said to Kay, don't worry, because she's here for another week, I'll help you, then we'll go through it. So our nightly ritual has been, we watch a bit of TV. We went out for dinner last night with friends. We watched a little bit of TV because we're watching this amazing, what is it called? I can't even remember what it's called.
To Get Away with Murder.
How to Get Away with Murder. It's really good. It's sort of on the edge of your seat, and season 3 is finished, and Kay can't get season 4 So I'll just have to, when I get season 4, I'll just have to tell her what's happening. We watch a bit of that, and then Kay has been, given by me some exercises and some stuff to do. Are you all very jealous of Kay? Are you all very jealous of the people who come to my house and they get my time and attention? So what we do, we either take a hot chocolate with us and a little liqueur, or we take, what did you have? You had sake. Yeah. We warmed up some sake and she took that. And we climb into my bed and we go through the lessons. And then when I'm falling asleep, she'll say, okay, I'm going now. Then and off she goes. It's like, but we go through the lessons and go through all the questions. And are you finding them helpful is what I want to know.
Yes. But I'm not finding them necessarily easy. But I don't think, but I wouldn't be doing them if that were the case.
As you said to me on Monday, do you ever make anything easy, Rosemary? That's what she said to me. And
no, somebody else did, and you asked me, am I tough or something? And I said, absolutely.
Was I tough? Do you think I'm tough?
You said to me.
You don't believe it, people. It's not true. It's just so.
Go back at the recording.
I'm only tough. It's like, it's tough love, really. That's what I tell myself, and that's what I tell my students. And as long as they believe it, we're all happy. There's no point in me being mamby-pamby about stuff, is there? So I pose the hard questions, because there wouldn't be any need for me to pose the hard questions if you got it, would there? And if you don't get it, whatever it is that you're supposed to get, or you're supposed to be being helped with.
Or you think you get it, and then you point out.
But I don't give you the answers. All I do is ask you why you're saying what you're saying. And that's irritating to a lot of people, because when I say, well, why do you think that? Or why are you saying that? You have to think, and you have to go deeper, and you have to go deeper into yourself. And I'm going to keep going to the why of things until you find the root of things. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Carolyn, do you want to say anything about that?
No.
Oh, come on. Come on. Get in.
Yes.
What would that mean, actually?
No, that's exactly what you do. And I've thought to myself, I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, there have been many times that I've thought, gosh, I wish I could just get information out of somebody like Rosemary does, or express something like you do, with the right amount of tough love and tenderness,
And compassion.
Yes, yes.
Because, and I said to Kay yesterday, when she was crying all over my sheets, I have to tell you, there is no right, I'm not looking for you to give me the right answer. It doesn't matter what you say. If it's coming from your heart and it's coming from inside of you, then that's what's right. I'm not looking for you to say anything particular except what is in your heart to say. And if I think that you're saying something and it's not coming from your heart, that's when I'm going to give you
out on
I'm going to give you tough love. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If someone comes to have a consultation with you, and their purpose is anything other than, talking to mom or dad or a loved one, if they're coming to see you for their own personal growth or to work out a problem, if they don't cry at least once in here and get irritated at you, then something's wrong, because I think those are the successful consultations. Right?
You're going to agree, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, my mission in life seems to be to make people cry.
and piss us off.
I mean, upset us.
Upset us.
Excuse me. Yeah.
But then after we've left your arms, when we go home and we think about the things that you say, within 48 hours, we're singing a different tune, going, wow, she was really right about that. And I just didn't want to see it. Dang, she was right about that too.
Would you say that, Kate? Would you say that? You sit there very quietly. Would you say that?
No, I think you do. It makes you think. It makes you think and look at things differently.
There was
Definitely.
a particular situation that I don't want to get on the particulars about, but that I've left here one time, and it was about a personal situation.
Come into the camera to do this, please, with this ridiculous hat.
And when I had spoken with you about the situation, and when I left here, I got to say, I was pretty
You're
mad
angry.
at you.
What,
Yeah,
you're
I was
angry.
pretty mad at you. How dare you say that? But
Well, I dare.
but
That's
the
why.
next day, I started putting my pain aside, and because I was looking at it it was my fault. I was looking at it that somebody was placing fault on me instead of just looking at the problem. And once I started looking at the problem, I went, oh, she is so right. She's
And
so
you hate it, don't you, when
right.
I'm right? You just hate
No,
it when
I
I'm
did know. I'm so thankful.
My
because
daughter hates it when I'm right.
I'm so thankful in this situation because it's almost a year since this happened. And things are so much different. So
Better.
much better. Much better. So thank you.
All right, let's get back to the questions. Enough about us. What about us?
What do you mean?
Enough about us. We're talking about us, so now what about us? Let's talk some more about us. Just come on, let's have the questions. Let's get going here.
Okay, we've got what is the best way to include our loved ones in the spirit world during the holidays and every day?
Everybody has their own rituals. Everybody has their own way. But come on, baby boy. Come on. Let's include my puppy. Come on, sweetie. Come on. Come on. You can. Oh, you can do it. Right. He's finally up. Look at that. He says. He doesn't need a headband. I did think about that, and then I thought, no, if I said something, you'd do it and make him look really ridiculous, and I was not going to have that. The best way to include people in the spirit world is to just simply to remember them, to remember to say hi,
And thank you.
and remember to say thank you. You know, I always ask people in the spirit world to help me with certain things, you know, through the day. The silliest thing is, can I have a good parking spot? I
Where are my
always
keys?
I always get, yeah, where are my keys? I swear that when I go, when it's my time to go and I stand in front of God, he's going to tell me that I've literally wasted at least 10 years of my entire life because I've lost something and I've had to search and search and search for it, because I'm always losing things, right? Always losing things. Can't never remember where I put things. But I learn the spirit world, and usually, you know, that we find them pretty quickly. But I think just remembering what Dean does is lovely, to toast them. I mean, even if they're not with you every time, Dean, your thoughts are with them, their thoughts are with you, and you know, I think that's a tremendous thing to do, to sort of just, you know, include them in your daily life. Just include them. You know, when I'm in the kitchen, I'll often think of my father, and you know, and especially we just had Thanksgiving, and I can't believe that I did it, because I don't celebrate Thanksgiving particularly. I'm British. But I made a turkey. We're not having a turkey for Christmas now, because I can only do a turkey once a year. I'm not a big turkey fan. So I made a turkey, and every time I make a turkey, I think of the time it took my father once to tell me how to cook a turkey. And I actually had a tape recorder at the time, and unbeknownst to him, I was taping him, and I have him on tape all these 20 something years, actually, oh gosh, no, 40. For all these 40 years later, oh gosh, I still have him on tape telling me how to cook a turkey. If you ever want to know how to cook a turkey, I can let you know that it's easy. 15 minutes a pound, that's it, done, the end. Anyway, but he took all this time explaining to me. So whenever I'm in the kitchen, I think about him, not whenever, but I think about him a lot when I'm in the kitchen. When I think about him, my thoughts, remember, thoughts are living things. Thoughts go out into the universe. Those tiny pulses of energy those thoughts that go out, they go out and they reach the person we're thinking about, and then they come back to us. And as they reach the person we're thinking about, that person draws close to us because they want to, draw close to us. So that, you can keep them in your hearts and in your minds, but you can also keep them in your lives and have them visit you as often as they can, because remember, they have lives too, and they're busy doing whatever they're doing. But that's the way, just thinking about them, remembering them, and sending out love and prayers, or saying hello every morning when you wake up. Hi everybody. That's all you need.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are guardian angels always people you've known?
No.
No.
A guardian angel. Angels are those beings who are only following God's agenda. We can ask our angels a trillion things. Please do this. Can we have that? So on and so forth. Our angels will only help us if God sends them to help us. The angels have an agenda, and that agenda is only for God and with God. When we are born, we have our angels safeguarding and watching over the process. When we die, we have our angels who come to help us and to carry us over across that void which separates our two worlds. I'll often say to someone, your brother's in the spirit world, and he tells me to tell you he's your angel. That's not.
Yeah,
I think that's what I was. That's an angel. That's what I thought you were getting at. It's a different. It's a different kind of thing. I mean, I tell my grandson he's my angel, and he truly is. But he doesn't have wings or a halo, and he's not a higher being. He's not a higher source of power. Not that I know. He's always an angel to me. He's always an angel. He almost the other day, he told me, he almost fell off the naughty list, onto the naughty list. He almost fell onto the naughty list. His mama said, if you're not very careful, you're this close to being on the naughty list. And he's adorable. He's adorable. His nanny sent me a fantastic little video. She sent it to my daughter, and then my daughter sent it to me, and then the nanny sent it to me. So I've got it twice, which is great. He's playing all by himself. He's making a gingerbread house, gingerbread train with the nanny, and he's putting all the pieces on the top, and he's sort of so engrossed in it. And as he's engrossed in this, he's singing. What was he singing?
About making a list.
Making a list, checking it twice, and so on and so forth. And he's sort of singing about being naughty and nice. He's 4 years old. He had no idea anyone was watching. He had no idea anyone was listening. He just was so engrossed in putting the finishing touches to his gingerbread train, because he's into trains big time. Not cars, trains. The next comes airplanes. So he's making this thing. And it is the most adorable, adorable thing. So, of course, he's my angel. So angels come in many forms, but a true angel, a higher being, a being that we know of as a higher being, our angel, they are God. They have only one agenda, and that is to do God's bidding. Does that help answer that question?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Dean says, of course I know my loved ones are there with me when I toast them, and it's wine or Corbel extra smooth brandy. I'm wondering.
It's what?
It's wine or Corbel extra smooth brandy. Must be a brand. I am wondering if they have the spiritual equivalent of drinks to toast me to.
Oh, Dean, there are lots of spirits in the spirit world. Come on, I mean, be reasonable here. Something like nectar from the gods comes to mind, and I'm pretty sure that they have their ways and means of. I'm not sure they take a drink necessarily, but I'm sure they have their ways of celebrating and tasting the good things of life. And Christmas is coming up. I'm very excited about Christmas. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday of all time. And I'm into magic as well. Are you into magic? You must be into magic with your grandchildren, Kay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I promote magic.
You don't mean magic acts. You mean the magic of the season.
Yeah, the magic of the magic of the season, the magic of believing in Santa Claus.
Magic as a child, when can you?
I know the magic of our angels, and we've got the elf on the shelf who gets into all sorts. And my grandson will call me Mosey. Mosey, the elf is right up high in the Christmas tree. We don't know how he got there. He must have flown there. And of course, we perpetuate, we encourage, there's nothing greater, I believe, than the magic of children and encouraging them to believe in the magic that there is all around us. I think it's fantastic. Yes. Woo! Yes.
Salsa Shakers just joined us, and she says,
good morning.
Well, hello there, you three ladies. I love your hats. They are lovely.
Oh, God.
How's Madeline? Please tell her I said Merry Christmas. Hello,
thank
Kay.
you. Thank you.
Hi. And Rosemary, you look beautiful.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you very much.
She just had her cabbage and cottage pie. Brilliant.
Okay, then.
I believe she's in Scotland.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, well, then, good for you. God, I miss that cottage. Well, I've not made one in ages. Maybe we'll make one. I'm actually making, you see, now I'm going to get fancy on you because I am making for tonight, for dinner, duck à l'orange. I make my fabulous orange sauce, which is really great, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's what we're having tonight, with some very strange little funny potatoes, which we're going to roast, and some asparagus and all sorts of other things we're having. Oh, and we're going to make a tiramisu, because Kay's never had my tiramisu. And my daughter tells me that my tiramisu, she's had tiramisu.
I've had tiramisu, but not Rosemary.
Look at this face. Look at this face. What did you say?
I said, you've never had Rosemary's tiramisu? It's the bomb.
It is the bomb,
yeah,
right?
You could sell that easily.
Yeah.
$25 a
pop.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm not going to make it to sell it. If you want the recipe, our poor little recipe book has taken a slight dive in that. We've been waiting for the photographs from my nephew who's been sick. He has the flu, so we didn't get the photographs. We're all ready to go. As soon as we get the photos, it will have to be something that's in the new year now. But I think we might be giving it out as a prize to someone when we do our competition. You get you get our Valentine's. So I think we're going to have to do but on the front cover, I hope it's come out really well. My daughter and my grandson were here for Thanksgiving, and we've got these great photos of us all in our aprons with our rolling pins and so on and so forth. So that's going to be on the front cover of the book. And on the back cover, we think is going to be the Christmas cake. It was meant to come out for Christmas. What can I tell you? I'm really sorry. I know I keep saying it's coming, and it is coming. It's just, we keep being thwarted. So maybe it's just not quite the right time. But if you want the tiramisu recipe, if you email us, rosemary@rosemaryaLtea.com, I'll give you a little preview and I'll send you that tiramisu recipe. Be prepared, though. Be prepared to taste. Probably the best thing, only if you like rum, right? Be prepared to taste the best thing you've ever eaten, because it's delicious. My daughter tells me she's a tiramisu connoisseur. Everywhere she goes, she has tiramisu, but mine is the best, she tells me, so I have to go with that. So we're making that today as well. Woohoo! Right then. Anything else we've got here?
Real quick personal question.
Oh, we haven't had a personal question in ages. All right then, go ahead.
If you could what is your ideal place to spend Christmas? Of course, with your family, but if you could scoop your family up and go anywhere in the world for Christmas, where would it be?
Gosh.
Are you more inclined for a beach or mountains with some snow? Paris?
When I lived in Vermont, we had the best Christmases. You came to Christmas, and it was spectacular, wasn't it? It was special.
Like you imagine Christmases should be.
Yeah, it was like, if you've ever seen the movie White Christmas with Bing Crosby and Rosemary Clooney and all of that, was it called White Christmas or whatever it was called anyway? And that's filmed in Vermont actually, and that sort of everybody's idea of Christmas with the snow falling and the Christmas tree and all the rest. And that was my home for many, many years. That was just how it was in Vermont. But I don't like the cold. So if I could now, I don't know where I would spend Christmas. I just want to say the corny thing, and it is a corny thing, but it happens to be true. Home is where the heart is. And to me, Christmas is where the heart is. So wherever your heart is, that's where I want to spend my Christmas, always. So please, will you all, even those of you who can't this year for whatever reason spend Christmas where your heart is, will you all try and have a great Christmas? Would you please also, for me, think about all of those people who have Christmas on their own. They don't have family, they don't have anyone to share Christmas with, they're not able to get out and about, or they're not able to travel, or for whatever reason they're too sick, and on it goes. If you have a neighbour who you know is on his own for Christmas, if you have a friend who you know is on her own for Christmas, if you know of anyone who is on their own for Christmas, could you do your little bit? And even if you feel you can't invite them into your home, go to their home and spend at least a half an hour to an hour with that person, or get on the phone with the person you know is on their own and spend some time with them on Christmas Day. Think about all of the people who do not have anywhere to go. I'm very fortunate. I have my daughter, I have my grandson, I have my marzipan to make today. You know, we all do these fabulous things for Christmas. Kay and I, over the last week, maybe, we've been having rum and coke, because that's a very Christmassy thing to do, isn't it? And I know coke isn't good for you, but we've been having rum and coke from time to time, and a little liqueur from time to time, because it is Christmas after all. But we're fortunate in that we have each other to share with. There are so many people in the world who do not have anyone to share with. There are so many children who do not have anyone to share with. There are so many children. Go to the nearest children's home if you can around the Christmas time. Do something for someone else. Put yourself out for someone else. Please do something for those who are in need, even if it's only in need of a smile, or a little hello, or a bit of turkey dinner, or anything that you can do, because that's what Christmas is all about. We are again going to try, we're going to try next week and do something early. We're not sure whether we'll be able to or not, because my life has been so crazy these last few weeks. But until I see you again, if it's before Christmas, great. If it's after Christmas, have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous New Year. Enjoy your Christmas. Please spare a thought for all of those who just need a little thought in their lives. In the meantime, whether it's next week or whether it's after the New Year, please, have a very, 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 very blessed day. And I'm looking for the arrow to click and